wrote that song very shortly after I came here to be your minister, and it is kind of my personal testament to my faith and my purpose. To believe that, to remember that, to consistently remind you of that. It was a vow of service for me. So, next couple of months, I may be driving you crazy because I'm going to speak a little bit of Bible-de-gook. The Ten Commandments have been very much in the news lately and very much on our minds. And yes, it absolutely hurts my heart and soul. I've always thought if I was a teacher and they made me put that in my classroom, I'd just put up the Noble Eightfold Path and I just put everything up. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with the Ten Commandments. What's wrong is that we think that's the only way. And what's even more wrong is that within that only way, that there's only one interpretation of it. And within that wrong is the hypocrisy, even within that interpretation of it. And yet, we don't have to throw out the baby with the bathwater. There is beauty here. There is wisdom here. And maybe not the way it was originally written. And of course, I can't tell you the way it was originally written because it wasn't in English. But I'm going to give you one of the earliest translations of it from Exodus chapter 20. And God spoke all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Thou shalt not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. Well, there goes Snapchat. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For the Lord thy God, I'm a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children unto the third and fourth generation of them that hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. Thou shalt not take the name of the Lord thy God in vain, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless that taketh his name in vain. I'm going to break that down for you, make it a little less painful, I hope. And look at these commandments, not as commandments, but as challenges, as something to think about, as something to live up to and to live into, perhaps. I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. I think the first most important thing here is that it is very important for us to know who is God to us. Not to accept what someone else tells us is God, but to find out for ourselves, who is God to me? And that takes exploration, and it takes thought, and it takes feeling into it, and it takes living into it, and it takes observation, and it takes practice in my experience. It takes listening to that still small voice, but I'm going to give you a clue as to how to do that. It's a huge task. Find who God is to you. Find out who you are. Find out who you are yourself. Get to know yourself. Because in our oneness, that is God. That part of you. So, find your own understanding. Find what makes sense to you. Don't practice something because somebody else practices. If it doesn't work for you, if it doesn't make sense to you, don't do my practice, do your practice. What works for you? What makes sense to you? And yes, it takes time. But I think it's the most important thing we can do in our lifetimes is to ask that question, who is God to me? Because if you're using somebody else's God, you're never going to get that close. Who is God to me? Find your own understanding. Find your own practices and then do them. Do what leads you close to that place. Do what gets you to know the depth of yourself, that place where you are one with all that is. The Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. Ooh, there's a good question. Where is your Egypt? Okay, this was spoken to the Israelites who were in slavery in Egypt, but I would ask, where am I enslaved? Where are the places that God has brought me out of slavery, and where are the places that I am still enslaved? Am I enslaved by my childhood? Am I enslaved by others' ideas of who I am or who I'm meant to be? Am I enslaved by some pain or abuse that was visited upon me once, but which I now am re-wounding myself with day after day in my own mind, in my own brain? Where am I enslaved? Where is Egypt? A very good question to ask. Notice I'm asking you questions. I'm not giving you answers. These are challenges for you. And to ask yourself these questions will bring you richness in life. I promise. I will promise that. I'll make a promise. Thou shalt have no other gods before me. Well, that's what Egypt is. What do I put ahead of God? I read a quote one time. I couldn't find it. I can't remember where it was, but it says, if you think anything will make you feel better than God can, quicker than God can, then you'll do that thing. Right? If ice cream makes you feel better than you think God can make you feel, you're going to do ice cream. If gambling can make you feel better, if sex can make you feel better, if whatever it is. So whatever it is that you are doing that you think might, to feel better in the moment, I would suggest that that's maybe your Egypt. That is the place where you're likely to be enslaved. And it's not just addictions, although it is addictions for sure, but it's anxiety, worry. You can be addicted to anxiety and worry. Ask me how I know. Netflix, right? Work. You can be addicted to having your grout spotless. Sometimes I know what's mine to do, and instead I get some bleach and I clean the bathroom grout. Right? That's not actually indulging in ice cream. It seems like it's not a bad thing to do, but why am I doing it? Am I doing it to avoid something that's real that's going on with me right now that I don't want to face? That if I do face with my God self, won't be so scary. Won't be so scary. So all these negations and distractions, back to one, back to I am the Lord your God who brought you out of Egypt. You don't have to cure your own addiction. All you have to do is bring God into it. And that is where the healing happens. So one of my favorite ones is this: no false idols or graven images. In the fundamentalist church that I was brought up in, people didn't wear crosses. Whew, that was a graven image. I mean, they still took pictures of their kids, so I don't know. But what I would say is, don't accept substitutes for God. Don't accept a picture for God when you can have God, right? Don't accept an image of God when you can have God. So that's really what it is. Don't accept substitutes. Don't take someone else's idea. And for heaven's sake, don't feel like you have to fake it. You don't have to pray in the streets to show that you're pious. You don't have to, I feel great on days that you don't feel great. You don't have to do that. You get to be real, because in the real, bringing God into the real is where you find where the human and the divine meet. And that is where the divine heals the human, always. Doesn't make it not human anymore. There you go. You get up the next morning, there's more stuff to deal with. But recognize what it is you're using as a God substitute. And then try to build a habit of not. This is what my personal practice right now. I have a lot of anxiety in my life, and what I find is that when I'm not paying attention, but the anxiety is just kind of whirling within me, suddenly, without intention, without even knowing why, I'm standing in front of an open refrigerator. Something in here's got to make me feel better. To ask myself, is this going to make me feel better than God? Is this going to make me feel better than just sitting and stewing in my anxiety? But is there something else I can do with my anxiety? Can I face it? Can I bring the divine into it? I'm going to tell you, sometimes I just want the ice cream. And that's okay too. There's no judgment here. This is about you deciding what you want with and for your own life, what I want with and for my life. But I can start to set up practices that support me in following my path, because what I know is that I want God. In that beautiful poem, what I'm searching for, whatever it is that you're getting that's a substitute, is never going to do it. I love how she says, don't stop there. Let your hunger lead you to the next place. Let your hunger lead you all the way to the divine. And then the third commandment, thou shalt not take the Lord thy God's name in vain. Well, when I was growing up, not only could you not say, oh my God, you couldn't say golly or gosh, because that was just a substitute and everybody knew what you meant when you said it. So, my language is a lot more colorful these days than it was when I was growing up. Because words are just words. Words have the power I give them. And words that are words of hatred or disdain or contempt, those are the words I really, really try to avoid. Words of judgment. And the other words, they have the power that I give them. So what does it mean to not take the Lord's name in vain? One interpretation is, don't make promises you're not going to keep. Right? When you promise something and then you don't keep the promise, in a way, you have taken God's name in vain. I think one of the worst ways that we can take the Lord's name in vain is to think that we own God and that everybody else is wrong. My interpretation of God is the right one. Yours is so clearly wrong. That God is somehow on our side, and that other sides are not as valid. That's a big one. That's a hard one. Because of course I'm right, duh, right? And yet, do I have a direct line to God? Yes, I do. Do I have God telling me God's purpose for every other living being on the planet, or the whole purpose in a big way? No, I do not. I only, and through great effort and time, get information about what is mine to do, what the God in me is leading me to do. I have no idea what the God in you is leading you to do. And I have no place to stand to judge that. I really don't. I want to, but I really don't. And so all this iniquity unto the third and fourth generation and all the wonderful stuff God's going to do for you if you love God, I would say that just means the further and further away you put yourself from God, the harder your life will be. That's iniquity unto the fourth generation, right? The further you push it away, the harder things are going to get. And for those that love God, for those that begin to put the divine front and center, then life gets, do I want to say easier? I'm not in an easy phase of life right now. But certainly, yeah, it's easier. I don't know what people do who don't have that spiritual connection when they're going through difficult times. I just can't even imagine it. And yet I look around the world and I see lots of people who are going through difficult times who don't have a spiritual connection, or who don't even know they're going through difficult times because they're so up in their egos. And yet I can feel how barren that life is. I don't want my life to be barren, and it does make it easier. This is the biggest thing to me about not taking God's name in vain. We are the divine in human form. I am God, you are God. That's who we are. So when we use our words to denigrate each other, or to talk negatively to or about ourselves, to me, that is taking the Lord's name in vain. Are you putting yourself down? Are you feeling and saying, even if you don't say it out loud, are you saying in your head, I'm not worth it, I'm not worthy? Are you thinking that about others? Are you judging others as less than worthy, as less than lovable, as less than human, as less than divine? To me, that is the truth of taking God's name in vain. And it brings us back to Don Miguel Ruiz's first agreement. Be impeccable with your word. And your word is not just what is spoken aloud. It's the language of the heart. It's the language that you use in your daily life, inside yourself, about yourself, to yourself, and about and to others, and about and to this world. You know, when you say this world is going to hell in a handbasket, think for a minute and say, and remember that you're saying, I'm saying God's world is not doing it right. When I say those people aren't doing it right, I'm saying, I know better. If I were God, I would make this stuff a lot better than it is. Do I really believe that God doesn't know what God's doing? I don't really believe that. I do believe that we're on a path to the divine, that we are evolving. I believe that it is slow. I believe that it is painful. I believe that sometimes it looks like we're going around in circles, and sometimes it looks like we're on our way down. But I do believe that the eventual trajectory is up. And I'm just using up because we live in a world of duality, and it's hard to have it's hard to know how to explain something like that, but that we are getting closer and closer and closer to the beloved somehow. And if you look at your own life, if I look at my own life, the times that I have drawn the closest to the divine were times that I felt the furthest away and had to work myself back to, or had a rug yanked out from under me where I didn't have any choice. And so maybe, just maybe, some rugs are getting yanked out from under us. And maybe, just maybe, we're working our way toward incorporating that divinity that is the truth of who we are, but that we've forgotten. We've collectively forgotten. And since there is a collective unconscious, the moment that you become conscious, you inject that into the collective unconscious. As soon as you say, no, I believe that God is love, and love is what I will serve with my words, with my thoughts, with my actions, rather than judgment. Do you know it is possible to do the right thing without pointing out the wrong thing? It is possible to just do the next right thing, and I believe that that is the way we are evolving not only our individual selves, but the planet. So this challenge, these 3 challenges, and I put those, I could have done a whole sermon on each one of those, but I felt like that they fit together so closely. They almost are one. Find your personal God. Find it. Listen to that still small voice within you. By the way, to listen to something still, you have to get still. Find your personal God. And then resist distractions. Focus on what you really want, not what you think you want. Do I really want ice cream? No, I want to feel better. I want to not be anxious. Are there other ways to get past my anxiety than ice cream? Ones that will probably last longer? Yeah. So don't accept substitutes. Insist on the real thing. Insist on the real thing. And then finally, remember who you are. You are that love. Don't you dare denigrate who you are or who anyone else is. You hurt all of us when you talk down to yourself. And you lift all of us when you refuse to do that. You lift all of us when you speak words of truth about yourself. I am love. I'm already there. I'm already home. I'm already safe in my eternal soul. I believe this. We are. Let's wake up to the fact. Thank you. I'm just going to invite you to get still. To allow yourself to just be quiet in body. Some deep breaths may help you do that, some settling in your seat. Maybe a quick scan to see where it is in your body that you're holding tension, and just let it go. Is your jaw tight? Consciously relax it. Your neck and shoulders taking you to Egypt. Consciously let them go. Open your fists into the receiving posture of hands. Relax your belly. Who you're holding it in for? Just allow your body to be present. And present with these words, I am. Remember that the I am isn't something out there. The I am is the most present, the most immediate, imminent part of you. And so we be careful what we attach to those words. I am the love of God in human expression. I am on purpose. I am a process of evolution, of realizing the truth of love in human expression. I am that I am. You don't have to really explain or understand it. Allow yourself to feel into it, to sense into it. And when I say to listen to that still small voice, it may not be a voice speaking English, but it will come as a knowing. I am more than I seem. I am connected because I am one. There is nothing in this world that is not a part of me. I am the divine in human form. Here to inform my humanness, not to get rid of it, but to inform it of who and what it really is. The divine in form. The formlessness of love made into form. And because I am currently in form, I can forget. that I'm not separate. But the truth is, I am one. There is only one. One light, one life, one hope, one power, one presence, one love. And I have the power to share that with every human that exists or that ever existed or that will ever exist, because I am one with that. And when a voice comes into my head that wants to grab that I am and put it next to a word that would be taking God's name in vain, any word that means less than in any way, I don't have to shame myself. I simply ask that I become more aware. Oh, what did I just attach the I am to? Because I want to attach the I am only to that which I truly desire. I truly desire joy. I truly desire peace. I truly desire happiness. I truly desire to remember the love that I am. And so I get a do-over over and over and over again, as many times as I need it. Because the divine is infinitely patient, not just patient like waiting for the humans to get it, but the divine put us into human form for this purpose of remembering. And how could we possibly remember what we've never forgotten? There's nothing wrong here. There's simply the opportunity to wake up and remember. So perhaps say to yourself right now, I am remembering who I am. In this moment, I am remembering who I am. I am remembering who I am. I remember who I am. And in my remembering, I have an endless capacity for love, for myself, and then for everyone. I am the love of God, and I am grateful. And so it is. Amen.